What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Buds, Bros, and Superheroes. If it's your first time coming to hang out, let me just catch up to speed so we can all be on the same page for this episode. Our name is Buds, Bros, and Superheroes, so that's the three categories of the three conversations me and my guests will be having today in the Bud section. Got some products to talk about and review in the Bros section. If you ever felt that, like, maybe time travel would be cool, let's go back to a place in time. Where would you pick? We have some good answers. And in the superhero section, we are 2 more episodes in to Loki on Disney+. Thank you so much for coming to check us out. My name is Nick James. Coming back to the co-host chair is Mr. JD. Sir, please, thank you so much for coming back.
Oh, man, no problem. It's been a while. It's been a long time, I feel like.
It's been a while. I'm sorry. I have to, though.
It's been a while. Who's that? No, never mind. I can't think of the band right now.
I can't even actually think of it, but I think that...
I remember the song, yeah.
It's really bad, though, because I do have this verbal tip with it almost. Like, I kind of have to. Like, I don't want to say I have to, because if I really need to, I can keep it on the DL. But for the most part, if I hear somebody say,
It's been a while,
It's been a while, I just kind of do that. And my wife and I were in the car, and we actually heard it once. It was a long song, so I had to repeat it every time.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I could see that. I would do the same. I think I've done the same thing, actually.
So thanks again so much for coming to hang out for this episode of Buds, Bros, and Superheroes, which we can get into right now, as we always do, in the Bud section. So we start off asking, sir, what are you smoking on?
Well, what did you just give me? What was it called? Citron
City by Franklin Labs.
Because, yeah, prior to today, I was kind of on a hiatus. Not like a choice. Just, I don't know. I just haven't smoked in a little bit. But so whatever that Citron, whatever the hell you said it was that was the first I smoked in a while. And that was pretty good. I'm feeling all right now.
Oh, good. Yeah, it was. It's super duper tasty. It's got that great aroma, citron, like citrus, and it smells like an orange in there.
Yeah, it was a nice little treat. I thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. As you had that, I had a little bit ground up. I went for a special pickup. Got to shout out my boy Danny G. Follow him on Instagram, Nepacana, Nepacanna. But he let us know that INSA, I think is the brand name, was dropping. He made it sound like, we were like, give it to us. We want your stuff here. And they went, okay. And they dropped off quite a bit in this region. So this one specifically was called Wedding Cake.
Ooh, wedding cake. I don't think I even ate my own wedding cake.
That's funny. All right. I just want to ask your opinion of the smell, because it, to me, is one of the most outrageous.
Yeah. It smells like, I'm getting like a chocolatey, or do you smell that too? The chocolatey?
Yeah, it's very, very sweet, and that's where the cake comes in. But it's insanely good. The packaging is one of my favorites. So, like, you have to line it up kind of like an adult like over-the-counter
Tylenol or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then you popped it, and then right here, it was almost like a tuna or whatever kind of can you will that you had to, and then peel back.
Wow, that is pretty cool packaging.
So it was fresh as fuck.
It's like opening a can of peanuts or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. That kind of same exact. Yes, sir. Oh, man, but it smells good. It looks good. Got to thank him again for dropping that little nugget of truth for us. Follow him on the Instagram if you're in NEPA, and you can get those Insta updates as well. And I also have here, I've been fucking with extracts a little more. Have you ever dabbed?
Never dabbed. I've seen funny videos of people dabbing.
That's, this is the big leagues, if you ask me, or something like that. You can get some pretty high THC levels, and it's nice to kind of stick your toe into that. And we say it here all the time on the show. It's medicine. You don't know how you're always going to react. So in this instance, literally the old saying, a little dabble do ya, really fucking applies. Start small and go up. But it is really good. It's Deadhead OG cured butter. Budder.
That's like Grateful Dead vibes or something.
Yeah, and it really picks you up. I think the best part about it is, like, concentrates, the way they can extract it comes in all different ways. So if you see shatter, it looks all waxy and weird, if you ask me. And then I could see like resins, which are burned. Like, this literally looks like fucking butter.
Yeah.
And what you can get into it.
And what are you mainly like making stuff with it, like cakes and shit, or what are you doing with it?
No, you heat up your rocker, and then you take a little Like I was talking about it. Yeah. I was talking about it with either my brother or Roy, and it looks a little nefarious if somebody kind of saw you because it involves
heating up a spoon or
a butane thing.
Yeah.
So no, it doesn't heat up on the spoon.
Okay.
You heat up the glass rocker, then you place the little thing on it, and the butter immediately evaporates. But anything to do with the torch is like, what you guys doing?
Yeah.
What's going on in there?
Oh, yeah. It looks a little suspicious. And I was laughing during that whole time you were explaining that because the first time I saw a video, I'll have to show you afterwards, but it's a hilarious video of this old guy taking a dab for the first time. Just great. I'll have to show you.
So yeah, definitely handle your high, people. Make sure you know what you're getting in for. Talk to your bud tender. Talk to your, I was going to say therapist. Talk to your pharmacist.
Therapist too.
They'll be able to guide you through this world of cannabis like I have as I've been traveling the screen. With that, we're going to close on out of the bud section, a little bit of a short one for this episode, but the bro section will be a little bit longer, a little bit lengthier, a little more time as we talk about time travel. How's that for a fucking segue?
Wow, you're pro. You're pro.
So thanks so much for hanging out in that, and we will get into the bro section right now. Now, I started thinking about this. There's a lot of time travel movies. We've had Back to the Future.
Yep.
We've had Avengers, is a pretty new one, Time Heist and stuff like that. There wasn't really one where anybody got stuck. You know, that always seems to be the point of a time travel movie, is to always get back to your home time. So that kind of led me to then think of, if you had to go and you had to get stuck somewhere, where would you want to get stuck in a nutshell?
I was thinking about this, and I was between two different periods. For me, it's either the 20s or the 60s. Because the 20s, because Prohibition ends in everything was a little bit more mysterious in the 20s. I feel like the parties were wild. Like, you know, if you ever watched Boardwalk Empire, it was just like a crazy time, I feel like. So I think the Roaring 20s, as they call it, I think that would be cool to go back to. But I think if I had to pick one, it'd be the 60s, because that was, for me, I'm a big music fan, and I feel like the 60s was like an explosion of all sorts of different music, like the Beatles, Rolling Stones, all these influential bands that, you know, came out and impacted the music I like now. So I feel like I would probably go back to the 60s.
I too found myself going between two major decades. I was thinking the 50s. So right off the bat, I'd want to be in the 50s of post World War II, just kind of coming out, and all the nuclear families are getting set up, and we're really discovering the commute. So there's places out, and you could drive yourself into a city and stuff like that, and just kind of, you know, we'll talk about Loki eventually. Well, we can talk about it right now. Anyway, the propaganda almost, that era of just
squeaky clean, Leave It to Beaver shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Or what's that, Pleasantville, that movie?
Fucking A, dude. Yes. Honey, I'm home. That would be kind of fun for a little bit, and I don't want to sound like a misogynist of I need my wife to come. No, we could still be progressive, and she could be the wife with a job or something like that. I'm not saying that, but of also just waving to your neighbor because your fucking neighbor's outside. Hello, human being.
Yeah.
I recognize that we live next to each other, and why don't we make this a pleasant experience?
Right. Kind of going back to WandaVision. WandaVision, when that first couple, I think that probably took place in the 50s, but watching that even gave me that same feeling. Oh, this was probably a great time to. This was probably a great time to you know, be around. Everything just seemed squeaky clean and wholesome, and I think it'd be 50s. I always think of Back to the Future when I think of the 50s too, because I think Marty goes back to the 50s. So 55. I always get that vibe. And actually, a grocery store I worked in years ago always played 50s music, and I've come to love that kind of music just from hearing it so much. So yeah, that'd be a cool decade to go back to.
And then my second choice then, which is funny that you brought up Back to the Future, would be 80s then. It's the exact time jump in which he does. I think those 30-year difference, it's really great of the 80s, because the thing that I want to expand upon a little bit more with you as well is, in this scenario, we know what we know. So how would you kind of play that differently, and who would you invest in is something I eventually want to get to. But the 80s kind of seem fun too, not to be too gross or anything, but doing drugs and hanging out and drinking a lot and just being a sly businessman, fucking Gordon Gekko, or what's the Leonardo DiCaprio and Wolf of Wall Street kind of thing.
Belfort,
Thank you, Jordan. Yes. That kind of thing would also, right now, as I'm 30 years old, being dumped into the 80s, all right, what do I do now? It's just all right, I know exactly what to do right now.
And I fucking love 80s music too. I know a lot of it's corny, but there's a lot of good shit out there too. It's just, I don't know, maybe because I was born in the 80s, I kind of would like to experience it as an adult. I would agree. That'd be a cool decade to go back to. I feel like a lot of 80s stuff is coming back right now, like a lot of music-wise and I don't know, like clothing and stuff. Like I'm not up on the clothing trends like the kids, but like, I see a lot of stuff. I'm like, man, that was like my mom used to wear that when I was in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. So that'd be cool. Yeah.
I was also thinking about it would be funny, and it's exactly what you were just talking about, like going and being like, all right, guys, this new cartoon's coming out. It's called Transformers. What's it going to be about? Oh, no, there's this new one called He-Man.
Yeah.
And like you said, bringing shit back. That new He-Man's about to drop this month. I think it's the Kevin Smith one. Kevin Smith made it. It's got an amazing cast list, dude. It's Mark Hamill.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Kevin Conroy. So immediately
I really didn't hear much
BTAS.
about this. Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
Oh, yeah, soon. We're getting a part 1, 5 episodes sometime this month. I don't exactly remember the date. If I had to guess, halfway through, 15th, 16th.
That sounds pretty fucking cool. I feel like everything comes back eventually from every decade, But yeah, I mean, that He-Man, I'll definitely have to check that out.
Lena Headey. So Cersei Lannister, the Onion Knight, and a bunch of other people. I just wanted to bring those up because I know you love Game of Thrones too.
I love
so
that shit. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then it reminds me too, just kind of continuing with this of like Netflix and Stranger Things, and they were all in the 80s, and then Wonder Woman 1985, and like you're right, the 80s is kind of like it's really like big right now.
Yeah, the 80s. I feel like we're kind of living in our own version of the 80s, but probably a less cooler version. You know what I mean? Like just the way stuff's coming back, and like Stranger Things. I think that's what kind of kicked it off, maybe like Stranger Things, because I feel like people watch that show like, oh man, it's such nostalgia, and then I feel like since then, like it's been creeping in every kind of aspect of life.
So going back, what was your first answer? I'm sorry.
The 20s.
Who would be the first person that you try to look up in the 20s?
That's tough. 20s, because I can't remember like any really influential. I'm sure there was, but I can't. Well, Boardwalk Empire, there was Nucky Thompson. So I think probably just because I know him from that show, I'd be like, I'm going to check out this dude for real, because he was like kind of like a kingpin in the 20s in Atlantic City, it seemed like. So just going off that, I'd probably look him up first.
I would want to go. So my first stop was the 50s. Like at that time, I feel like I'd want to like look up Forward or something like that and be like, hey, have you ever considered 2 doors? Or like, what if you had a Mustang or something like that, and just be a wise ass, or even in the 80s to answer that too, go to John DeLorean and be like, don't fucking do it, bro. You're going to get a cool movie out of it and people will remember your name for that, but
it's a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's not really a cool car.
It's like a stainless steel hunk of metal.
There's this great movie, Driven. Have you ever seen it? I could give it to you. I got it free at work, actually. And it's really good. I don't want to get too far into it, but like it's that fucking weird thing that happens in movies sometimes where people make 2 movies of the same thing accidentally. So there's 2 versions of his story. It's very, very strange. He didn't seem like too honest of a man. And I think I'd go up to him and be like, hey, don't do this.
Yeah.
So what was your second one? I'm sorry.
The 60s.
Who would you go find then?
JFK. Like, dude, do not fucking go to Dallas, bro.
Just hand him a helmet and just be like,
like take a different route, do something, fucking. Because, and I used to be like a little bit of a history buff kind of, and I was still to this day, I was like just fascinated with JFK and that family, and I just like the tragedy that surrounds it, but I would definitely go back and be like, John, fucking don't do it, man. Or you could say, give him a helmet, put on this fucking steel helmet or something.
Yeah, send the cops either to the grassy knoll or the book factory or whatever the fuck something happened.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great too, just to know, just to be like, who caught him? Because at the very end of the day, it could have been Magneto, we found out, right?
Yeah.
Or it could have been the comedian. It's funny how many times comic books has gone there of just like, hey, remember when that guy died? It was us.
Yeah.
Let's remember this.
Did you ever watch that show with James Franco? It's about the year. This is terrible. I can't remember. I was just saying how much I liked history, and I can't remember. I think it was 62 JFK was killed. But it's called, I think the show is called 1962. You would probably like it. It's on Hulu. It's like James Franco is like this detective, or he time travels back to the 60s, and he kind of like he tries to stop Lee Harvey Oswald before he. It's good if you ever get a chance to watch it. It kind of sounds like what I would want to do, like go back and warn JFK.
I will. I think somebody was just telling me about that. That's why I look so befuddled. I was like, wait, this sounds like something. My mom was telling me about another show where she is. That's why I don't think it's this one.
Yeah.
Is the main character a woman?
No, it's James Franco's the main dude. And he's, like I said, like I can't remember if I've watched him a while, but he's like a detective or something. He ends up back in time and he knows JFK is going to get killed and he's trying to like be like, yo, don't do it.
Yeah, that's what my mom was describing, but it was a lady and she's going back to different places and doing different things.
Yeah, this one is strictly about JFK. You know
and 62.
Yeah.
Well, that's what she was trying to sell me on. She was like, it's cool that it's historically accurate. And I was like, yeah, but they're talking about time travel, so not really.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's not that accurate if you're actually traveling in time. He's an ordinary high school teacher who's presented with a chance to change history. So he's a high school teacher, not a detective. But he goes back, and it's fucking cool. I think he was really like, because it fits perfectly, time travel going back to a certain decade.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's almost as if we made the show for that show.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, fucking maybe we're traveling time right now, man. This is weird.
Yeah, I
don't even get me started.
Well, let's not even start with that.
Outer space or anything like that. It fucking blows my mind.
I think if I had one more though, I'd maybe like, are you the type of person that would fuck with the time travel in the dinosaur sense, either the Jurassic Park model of like, do you think it's a good idea to bring dinosaurs now? Or would you be like the guy who'd be like, let's see some dinosaurs and go back? And
I would just, let's see some dinosaurs, because I don't know if we could have them around now. That'd be a fucking bad idea, I feel like. But yeah, I would just want to do, yeah, because when I was a kid, I loved dinosaurs and just to fucking go see them. But then also, I'd probably be a little intimidated, going out to see these fucking giant, reptiles. Like, it'd be a little scary, but I would definitely want to do it.
Well, that just about wraps it up because we have a lot to break down in the superheroes section, if you ask me. It's pretty much going to be an all superhero Loki episodes 3 and 4. Coming at you right now in the superheroes section as we close out of the bros section. All right, so episode 3 is called Lamentus. Loki finds out the variant's plan, but he has his own that will forever alter both their destinies. So we're not going to go through it beat for beat. What did you think of the episode just overall? And we'll kind of go through it that way.
I liked the episode, but it was definitely, a little bit filler episode, kind of, and then it kind of showed you Sylvie and Loki growing that, kind of getting some backstory there, making their relationship grow. I liked the episode. It wasn't by my favorite by any means, but it was. I thought it was solid. It was good, a little bit good of a cliffhanger, which we'll get to, I'm sure. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
I found it okay. Eventually, they get to the TVA. They realize her plan's not going to work. They have to escape, and they go to a planet which was predestined in her pad. And if you listen to what happens in episode 2, she lives in apocalypses, and now they're stuck on a world that's going to blow up, and that's pretty much the entire episode.
Yeah.
So they have to get from one place to another, and they're also on a train the whole time. What did you think about the entire train thing and like...
That reminded me a lot of the movie Snowpiercer, and I think I mentioned this to you. I only saw it once, so I don't remember all the details about Snowpiercer, but it was kind of like a post-apocalyptic world where they're on the train went by wealth and class, like for the people from the further in the train were like the wealthy, well-off. So I kind of got that vibe for it. Like they're on this train trying to get out of this planet before it blows up. So I thought that was kind of cool, but it was like kind of like a like a weird vibe between them sitting at the table. Like it was like, it felt outplaced, that bar scene. I don't know why. It just didn't seem like it fit in. Like, hey, yeah, might die a little bit, but let's just sit at this bar and have a couple drinks while we talk about our past and how fucked up we are.
The one thing that I did like about this is that we learned actually in another episode that not all of the Lokis have the same powers. And that automatically to me was like, oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I always just thought they were just not going to look the same, but it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, different worlds, different abilities, you know what I mean? Because like different timelines, they could, live somewhere where their powers wouldn't really make sense where they're, you know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, I thought that was interesting too, though. I too thought it was just looked different, but pretty much were the same every other aspect, you know what I mean? But it kind of shows they all have like their different kind of quirks and features, and so yeah, that was interesting to me as well.
And also interesting to Tom Hiddleston. I'll just call him his name because we call her Sylvie, so we don't have to go because very soon we're going to talk about there's a lot of Lokis. Spoilers. Anyway, because he's like, wait, how do you do your whole shit? And she's like, well, it's got to be it's got to be a memory
in the past. Yeah,
I can't make new shit. I can only prop strings on old shit.
Right.
And that's another thing. I was like, that's fucking interesting. I really enjoyed that. It's a little bit reminded me of Wanda originally when
Yes.
she's like, let me poke in here and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Because Steve went back to the OSS
Yeah.
kind of days, you know? They all went back to a place that seemed familiar. It's not like they went anywhere new. So I kind of saw a little bit of a mirror in that almost.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. Yeah, a little mind trickery. Yeah, I agree. That gave me the same vibe.
So I'm wondering how much of that's going to play into. Do you think that these guys are going to show up in Multiverse?
Which
Loki's?
I think at some capacity, yes. I don't know how big of a role they'll have, but yeah, I feel like they'll definitely be in Multiverse because they're kind of kicking it off. I mean, this is where we're starting to really see the multiverse and the effects like variants have on different timelines. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's setting it right up for that.
Speaking of the timelines, I sent you that thing. Pretty much every Marvel fan's wet dream,
Yeah.
if you will. It's so at the end of episode 2, you see the main timeline and then a bunch of timelines coming off of that, in which is all of the Marvel movies that aren't in the MCU, X-Men, Ghost Rider, Fantastic Four, the Spider-Man, just to say a few. And it's like, is this how they're all going to bring it together? Do you think that's true, or do you think that was just fun bullshit?
I think it's just fan bullshit, to be honest with you. I wish that would be the case, but and it a very plausible option, you know. But sometimes I just don't want to get my hopes up too high because, you know, I always seem to do that with these shows and movies, and then it never pans out.
Yeah, me too.
Well, yeah. That would be fucking cool, though. I hope that's true, but my gut says that's just fan fiction, fan wishful thinking.
And not to, we're going to now start talking about, because we are going to cover 2 episodes. I want to talk about them a little bit fluidly now in the sense of, I kind of think it's confirmed fan bullshit because they think they wrapped the case. They think it's over in the next step. Like nothing ever, they were really panicked when this was happening. And then they solved it and it was just kind of over, it seemed.
Oh, you mean like the whole variant, like the Sylvie shit? Like, yeah. It was kind of, I was like,
she dropped all those bombs, opened all those doors, we saw all those spikes heading off, and then in the coming episodes, nobody was like, it's still fucking happening.
It's crazy.
They made it sound like everything was going to stop and
go
destroy,
shit. And
they solved it like that.
Yeah. Right, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it was kind of like chaos at the end of that episode and variants going all over the place. But then it was like, yep, nope, we're good. We solved the case. We know who she is, blah, blah, blah. That's it.
So, yeah, even though I'd very much like to see that, I don't think we're going to see any of that.
I don't know how they'll tie all those, if they will tie all those in or how they're going to do it, but I don't think it's that way.
Now, the reason I feel like this one felt like so much filler is because we're damn near close to practically being done talking about it. They're on the train. They get thrown off the train because he gets drunk and, gets alerted. They still make it to the city in time, but not in time to get on the Ark,
rocket
if you will.
Ship. The Ark looked like just a big rocket ship of some sort.
And the predestined or the
predetermined.
Thank you. Apocalypse did go down, and now at the end of this episode, they're like, "Fuck."
Yeah, and I found it funny too. They're running through this town, and they're the only ones that seem to be running towards this fucking rocket ship. Everybody else there's like officers trying to stop people, and then there's the people not even really trying to. I feel like they're the only ones like, no, we need to get on this fucking ship. So I found that funny because it was kind of just them running through this town, and then everybody else was just kind of like, we're fucked. I'm not even going to try to get on this ship.
It's really, very true. I didn't really notice that they were the only ones kind of running towards it.
I mean, I seem like some people were trying to get there, but they were the only ones with any sense of urgency, I felt like. And then, like I said, I kept seeing guards trying to stop these people. I'm like, why aren't these fucking guards running? They're fucked too. Why are they just trying to stop people? Everybody should be trying to get to that ship. So I just thought that was a funny little side.
I feel like the amount of meteors also was very inconsistent.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, there was meteors hitting, but it was just a little bit of showers. I felt like
when we first got there, it was like boom, boom, boom,
yeah.
boom, 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 and they're running through shit. Then halfway through the episode, it's like boom, 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 and you're like, all right. And then shit's taken off, and it's not that bad. But at the beginning of episode 4, the Nexus event, the ship is destroyed. They don't think they're going to get off. I really do feel in this moment they're looking at each other like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
And now they're really starting to come down.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they're like, we don't really have much of a plan here. I don't know what we're going to do. And they're kind of at the end of their rope. And then, like you said, fucking meteors are flying everywhere. It was kind of the first time you had a sense. Loki always seemed to have like in the other movies and stuff like that. He was always confident because he knew he was going to get away somehow or come back somehow. And this one he kind of realized. I think he kind of realized, no, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do here. Like this is the actual end for me. It was an interesting perspective to see.
Before we see what exactly we're talking about, when they're sitting there, kind of saying, "All right, bye bye," almost so long.
Peace,
we do open up on Asgard, maybe not quote unquote our Asgard, Tom's Asgard, if you will. But on Sylvie's, then I guess, was she then called Loki? Was she Loki before she got taken? When did you think she switched her name to Sylvie?
I feel like she switched it later on because she's like despises it. It seems like she despised it. I feel like she was called that a long time because she's like, oh, don't call me Loki. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like maybe came later on in life that she changed it.
But I definitely didn't see that she was going to be that child.
No.
I knew that she got fucked over by the TVA, but I thought it'd be the same actress at least, you know,
right.
Maybe like a different haircut to make her look younger. I didn't think
they
were going to go with like a little fucking kid who the TVA detains. And we see the opening process with our Loki of how you get in, and they show you flashes of that, but it just seems so much more cruel with a little child there.
Yeah.
And it was fucked up a little bit.
Oh yeah, it was definitely fucked up. Kind of, it's like this fucking kid, and I don't even know what she really did. Did they ever explain what the variant was?
No,
like, that she did?
We still don't understand it.
And I know they said it could be like something minuscule, you know, of as simple as you not punching in on time at work. But yeah, they never really explained what she did, and then she gets taken to this fucking place, getting dragged around. And yeah, it was a little disturbing, a little troubling.
Yeah, because she wasn't even around anybody. I can't see how her actions in that moment or a previous moment could have caused anything.
Yeah, she was playing with a toy or something. You know what I mean? So I don't understand. But
yeah, that was cool. The Valkyrie toy.
Yeah, Game of Thrones vibes with that too. I felt like, you know, like just like how it looked and the toy she was playing, the ship she was playing with and stuff. But yeah, and it gives you good backstory in regards to why she hates the TVA so much, because she was that's a traumatizing experience for a child. You know what I mean? Like that shit lingers with you. So yeah, I thought it was good how they incorporated that and gave you a little bit of backstory for her.
Yeah, her intake processing was a really hard scene, and then she gets away, which we knew, but it also seemed like nobody really tried that hard to stop her, which is like, all right, that was weird.
Yeah.
But we're back on the planet talking about what we're talking about, and the TVA shows up. They finally find a Nexus event, the name of the episode of it. Do you think it was their touching that did it?
Can we go back to? Yeah. I'm sorry, because I don't know if we mentioned that Ravonna, is that her name? The judge lady.
Yes,
she was the one that captured
Sylvie.
Did we mention that?
No.
So I think that's kind of important too, because it shows
a personal
vendetta. Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on that. My bad.
Oh no, sure. No, that's good to know, because we do see her just go into bitch mode, this Ravonna or whatever.
Ravonna, whatever the hell it is. Yeah.
I know that her real name isn't even easier to say, so I'm not going to look it up. I had such a hard time talking about that in the previous episode. Yeah. Both her and the guard lady have the hardest real names, so I'm not even going to try that. So the Nexus event that spikes so much the timeline and leads them right to them, even though they're hiding in an Armageddon, is what I think the episode's named for. It's something that it seemed like they had never seen before. This amount of an event this quickly mounting.
Yes, it seemed like, oh shit, like this is skyrocketing. Yeah.
Well, what do you think that's about? Do you think a physical touch, or was it them just close to character change? Like, what do you think the fuck that was?
I think it's because it's showing Loki, not Sylvie. Loki is showing this like compassionate side that we've seen glimpses of in the past, but like, you know, he's usually this asshole that just loves causing mischief, and he's falling for this other version of himself, which is kind of weird, but he's falling for this Sylvie. I think it's kind of like the first time that this has happened, or like that's a true feelings towards someone that he has had, and it kind of maybe that's what I got, the vibe I got from it. It was just like, oh, what the fuck, Loki's falling in love here, you know what I mean? So that's what I think that was why it did that.
I agree. I think because a lot of people online were like, oh, it's because they touched. And I was like, I don't think so. Like, they kicked each other's asses, and you would think there'd be a spike every time skin touched or something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think it was just because they were having like this real emotional end of life moment. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Like, it was like, you know, this is it. Like, And then like we saw a different side of Loki. That was just what I got from it, but I've been wrong many times in the past.
There's a lot to learn as we're going through this. Like Ravona's covering shit up.
Right.
So we get them back, they get separated, and she gives him time. Ravona gives Owen Wilson time with Loki, but she doesn't want her around Sylvie. Again, that personal vendetta kind of sinks in, and we get this cool scene again with Owen Wilson. This is my problem with it, is that just fucking tell him. Just get it. Like, let's go. Just because we have to wait for a character to find out new information, we knew all of the TVA agents are variants.
Right.
I was about to say duplicates. I'm like, no, Rick Deckard, no. But
that was discovered in last episode, right? Episode 3, that, you know, because the agent that was caught says she's rambling on and stuff like that. So yeah, all these agents are variants, and it's kind of like they don't know it. Their life was erased previously.
And that was a great scene later on where Sylvie does eventually get Guard TV 13, whatever, and she's like, I looked happy. Mm-hmm. I love that part too.
Yeah.
She wants a fucking life back. She understands what's been taken from her. And eventually Owen Wilson gets on board, but that process taking so long pissed me off.
Well, because Agent 15 has this moment, I think, because when Mobius is bringing Loki in, Loki tells him, like, you guys are all variants. And, like, of course, Mobius doesn't believe him, but she's there. You can see in her head, like, kind of like something clicks with her. And then she's kind of going on as the episode goes on. And then she finally breaks in and takes Sylvie, and they go back to that Roblox place. You know, not Roblox, whatever. The
Walmart from the future in Alabama.
And that's when she does that, what you were just talking about, shows her past, and she has that real moment crying in the rain. Yeah, it was a great scene. I like that scene a lot.
Me too. I thought it was really great. It was great that you could see her tears in the rain. That was fucked up.
Yeah, because you just saw this water all over, and then you could still see a fucking tear. Yeah.
In the meantime, Owen Wilson kind of starts looking at Ravona, and in my opinion, it was too slow of a burn. I know that you're saying you enjoyed the tension, but
we disagree.
I was just like, come on.
It's because you're a damn fucking millennial. You want instant gratification.
You know you're going to figure it out. Just figure it out, motherfucker. Like, let's go.
Yeah. But see, that's what I like about it, because then there's that payoff when it finally does, to me, when it finally does happen. You're like, fuck yeah, I knew this was going to happen.
But that payoff to me wasn't even given, because he eventually gets to look at her and go like, I know what you're up to. And instead of doing anything about it, he just gets fucking disseminated or disintegrated or whatever.
Pruned, they call it, I think. Yeah.
Fuck, did that bother me? So I see what you're saying, but to me, like, he didn't even get to ride that wave of like, I figured it out, because she... It pissed me off, man.
But I've had this discussion with you. I don't think it's the last we've seen of him. I mean, I could be wrong, and then I'll be like, "Shit, Nick, I was wrong." And I get why you're a little upset, but I thought it was a great moment, kind of too, because all Mobius has been talking about is this jet ski. How he wants to, and he says to her, like, right before she prunes him, she's like, you know, if this is it, I want to go back to. He's kind of letting her know that I know that we're variants. He's like says, I want to go back to my life prior to this, like riding that jet ski. And like, I thought it was a beautiful moment. So if it is the end for him, I didn't hate it. Like, I know you wanted him to, you know, go out in a blaze of glory, and, you know, but I didn't hate it.
At least try to dodge the first hit or something. He just sits there and goes, oh.
Yeah.
But I also mentioned to you, do you think it was like a Kenobi moment of like, I know I'm 2 steps ahead and they're going to have to prune me, and then I'll be able to...
Right, based on what we find out later in the episode, because he has like this. He knows what happens when you maybe that's a good theory. Maybe he knows what happens when you get pruned, and he, you know, like you said, he's a couple steps ahead. You're like, oh, well, this, and that, I think that would be a great payoff if that is the case, because then it shows, like you said, he's 2 steps ahead. So you'll get that glorification of like that was part of his plan, kind of. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's a good theory. I think it's definitely plausible.
Now, spoiler, I don't know. Do you care?
No.
He's on IMDb for 5 episodes.
Okay. So we got
something's going to happen.
We have one more possibly, yeah.
But at the same time, if he comes back in a memory of what, like if Loki thinks of their first encounter, he's got to be credited. So it could go either way.
Right. I just want him to come riding back on that fucking jet ski. And somehow comes flying through one of those portals on a jet ski and just fucking starts kicking ass at TVA.
Doing something.
Yeah.
The big bad is eventually going to have to be recognized because so he gets pruned.
Yes.
And Ravona's like, let's take him to see the lizard people. And we finally get to see them. Now, at the beginning of the episode, we find out, like, we see the elevator
Badass
open.
scene, I thought that was.
It did look very, very, very good.
Very cool visuals, yeah. But go ahead.
But we don't actually go in. She comes back out and she's like, they're angry. And the episode goes on. But now I thought we were going to honestly get cut again, not get to go in there a second time.
Yeah.
But we do go in there.
Yeah.
And they're there. And long story short, spoiler alert, we find out they're robots.
Yeah, because Agent 15 comes busting in and sets Loki and Sylvie free, and then they start kicking some ass, and Sylvie ends up fucking throwing that dagger at him, and off comes his head. And yeah, it's like, oh shit, it's a fucking robot. This has been like a smoke and mirrors, you know what I mean? Because even, and I'm sorry, I keep rambling on about it, but when they first walked in, the way they were talking, it gave me very Wizard of Oz vibes. Like the man behind there, you've come to see the great Oz. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. And it also gave me, which we could touch on too, like Snoke vibes at The Last Jedi. This is how I was telling you the other night, like, because Snoke was supposed to be, we all thought was going to be like this huge villain, but then kind of like, nope, we kill him off really quick. And I kind of got that vibe from it when they killed off the robot, the robot timekeeper, and I was like, that's kind of like a Snoke vibe to me. But so yeah, that was kind of a crazy moment.
Yeah, right from the very beginning, I didn't think these three things were going to be in charge.
Yeah,
and maybe that's just another thing that I could blame on myself and not them, of the fact of one of these rumors, one of these things that So you said that you like that it's spaced out because it gives us time in between to chat and theorize. But when those theories come true, it's not a surprise anymore.
Right.
And that's where I felt like with this, where they went, haha, it's a robot. And I went, and what else? Like, we knew they weren't, like, it was meant to be this punch, and I saw it coming from episode fucking 2.
But yeah, but to me, the measure of a good episode, like any show, not just Marvel shows, is you go in with questions that get answered, but you also leave with some questions. And I know, like you're saying, like we found out a lot that we already knew. But they give you a couple questions, like who is really behind it, which I know people have. But again, I feel like it's more of like an us issue, like because we are the ones sitting on the internet looking up these theories. So yeah, you kind of know what's going to happen, but that's not on Marvel, in my opinion, because like they need to drop all 6 at once then, and then we can't do this. Yeah, true. But
that's my big argument then. I said, I might be done. I might wait for these I might wait 6 weeks next time because...
Yeah, right.
But then what? I'm not going to watch the internet at all because Kid Loki was fucking ruined for me the second I sat down on the toilet, opened up the Instagram, and it was like, look, Kid Loki in the comics and Kid Loki on the TV. Look, I compared them.
Yeah, exactly. You can't... It's too tough to avoid shit like that nowadays.
Oh, that pissed me the fuck off so bad.
And I get what you're saying, like, because it's like, and it might be for you personally, it might be a better if you did it all in one shot without getting any spoilers, because then it's like watching a movie. You might have an idea what's going to happen, but then it all gets paid off in one sitting. But like for me, like there's still a lot. Like I know a lot about Loki and the comics and stuff like that, but there's still a lot where I'm not positive on. So for me, maybe it's because I'm not like as in tune with it that I'm like, this was pretty good, but I see what you're saying, because like you want, what's going to happen, you just want to get there quicker, like the payoff.
Yeah, or not know what's happened,
right?
And not have time to think about it.
Yeah, kind of.
I can't write the movie. Yeah, I can write this 6 hours in 6 weeks. I can't write the 6 hours while the hours are going on. I just can't do it that fast. Maybe I can get 5 or 6 minutes ahead of myself, but that's where I'm finding myself just pissed, because now we all have fucking theories about... Let me just continue. So, they're robots. The agent comes in, but our Loki still gets pruned and disappears. Sylvie looks at Ravonna, and like, Ravonna, we were talking about, she says like, fucking just do it. Like, I'm over this shit. Just fucking kill me at this point.
Yeah.
And that was more telling than anything of like, she's not pulling the strings. Even though she seems like a shady bitch. In the comics, and this might be another big spoiler of like, I'm firmly believing it's a Kang the Conqueror setup.
Oh yeah, and I feel like she is, she's complicit, but not the mastermind. She kind of maybe got drug along too far, and then she's so far gone now she has to do whatever she can to protect herself. But at the same time, she's like, I'm fucking over it. Just kill me. And like you said, I think King the Conqueror is. the big bad, and we're gonna find that out, even though the actor that's supposed to play him is like denying it. But I feel like that's Kang's, and I feel like it's more because, like I said, WandaVision, there was all these Mephisto references, but this is more concrete. I feel like the Kang the Conqueror stuff, because like he's already cast to play in another movie, so this could be perfect time to introduce him, and Ravonna has a relationship with him in the comics, so I feel like it's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. And if I'm wrong, I'll be like, fuck you, Marvel.
That's what I was just about to say. Unless, I mean, it is just such a fucking setup to be like, gotcha.
Yep.
To set up this all from back then, that would be kind of cool if they're like, no, it's blank. Just somebody completely fucking different.
It's Mephisto.
Oh my God.
That would be fucking... People would be like, fucking losing their minds.
Yep.
Go to Ambad, like, what the fuck?
That would be, oh my God. So instead of kill me, though, Sylvie looks at her and she's like, no, you're going to tell me what the fuck is going on, more or less.
Right, and that's how they leave them. That's the end of that storyline for the episode.
And that's what I'm talking about, man. All we have is fucking questions. I didn't get one answer. What's an answer that we got?
Well, like I said, you knew it already, but we found out they weren't real. The Mobius knows that they're TVA.
He found that out. We knew that shit.
I don't know. I got nothing.
That's why I'm not saying it's bad. It's just I don't understand the formula of the weekly with an episode like this, because in my opinion, it just makes people jump off. Like, I'm okay for waiting just to watch the last two in succession, rather than be led to this point again of like, it fucking reminds me of that Geico commercial with the guy. He's like, I got you $1.
Yeah, but
oh, you almost got it.
I feel like a lot of people did. I know you don't, and I'm sure you're not the only one, but I feel like a lot, from what I read, mostly positive reviews about it. You know what I mean? Nobody was like, oh, this is the best episode of the series, but I feel like it was, a lot of people did enjoy it, but there's probably some people who are getting frustrated, and it's hard to keep everybody happy, though. You know what I mean? It's like because you're always going to have two different sides and all different opinions. You know what I mean?
It's just, in my opinion, a pacing error in the fact that episode 1 was shot out of a cannon. It was that good, and now the train seemed a little slow, and now this just seemed to be like, okay, please. I need to fucking know.
Right, yeah. What the fuck's going on? And it's tough when you only have 6 episodes, too. You know what I mean? So it's like tough either way. Tough to get it all in 6 episodes, but it's also you have to drag it out a little bit because you don't want to reveal everything too early. So I feel like it's tough. 6 episodes is tough.
Agreed.
It's like if you have a little bit longer series, you might be able to pay off some stuff earlier on. You know what I mean? Or I don't know. It's tough.
You did say it. That's how the episode quote unquote ends, but anybody who knows Marvel knows that they're a big player of the mid-credit scene.
Yes.
And they went there.
Yeah.
We knew that he could not actually be pruned, correct? Like, you can't. I would hope.
Well, yeah, for a second, I'm like, fuck, is he really dead, Loki? Like, that's the end of Loki? And then, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, once I kind of knew already there was a mid-credit scene, I'm like, okay, well, he's coming back on that or something, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I did have a moment where I was like, oh, fuck, he might be actually gone.
It would be cool. And not that I don't like him and not that I don't like what he's doing, but almost what we've been talking about this whole time of like, I actually did not see that coming.
Right, yeah, like a fuck moment.
Now, I did not see that we would know where he is at the end, but I knew that we would get a wake-up scene, and that was with another Loki saying, hey, you got to come with us.
Yeah, it's like, Loki, our Loki that we know wakes up, says, am I in hell? Which they made a note, something I watched made a note say it wasn't, if you read the subtitles, it wasn't HELL, it was HEL, which is, I guess, the Asgard version of hell. Like the Greek mythology version of hell. But yeah, he says, am I hell? And then, like you said, someone in the back says, no, but you will be if you don't get up and come with us, or something along those lines. And then it pans to not 1, not 2, but 3, possibly 4 Lokis with the crocodile Loki. We'll get to that too, but
fuck, I hope. That's what I thought too. So the thing that we're talking about is the new rock stars kind of broke this down, and he made it sound as if the alligator was almost Kid Loki's pet.
Yeah, I got that's an actual Loki. That's my opinion.
Me too. I want 4 there. I would love to see a talking fucking alligator.
And it's just so off the wall. Yeah, it'd be so funny.
Because we have Thor Thor frog.
Right.
So, like, why can't we have an alligator? It makes sense even biologically of, like, why they'd be enemies and shit.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, I think it's another Loki because he has the crown on. They're like, oh, you even put the crown on. I'm like, no, I think he's fucking a Loki, and I'm hoping it is because, like you said, it'd be a cool little twist there. But
Exactly, that would be a fun little twist. I don't know much about Marvel Comics nowadays, so what Kid Loki is, other than just that, I'm not too sure of.
they're saying someone told me he's gonna be involved with the Young Avengers or whatever. Like, you know how WandaVision has what the fuck's their names? The two kids,
Speed and
Wiccan.
yeah.
So like that Kid Loki's going to be part of that, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I don't know what his deal is. And then you have the Black Loki with the kind of looked like Thor's hammer, but it was that video we watched. What was his name? The guy we watched?
Oh, Eric Voss of New Rockstars.
Yeah, yes, he pointed out that it looked kind of like a made up, like it looked like it was a piece of a railroad and stuff like that.
And a piston handle.
Yeah, and I read something first. One of the things I read on the internet first, probably like, oh yeah, it was 3 Lokis and a Black Thor. I'm like, no, that wasn't Thor. That was, and then it went into like this whole other how there was like a different spinoff of Black Thor. It's like it was like a group almost. Like Blade was in it, and like I don't know, it sounded cool. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. But yeah, I was like, no, that's just another version of Loki with the fake looking Thor hammer. But I'm interested to see what all their roles are going to be. Yeah.
And I hope that we really get to it. I can't imagine. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, and again, to say thank you to this guy, New Rockstars, is I didn't notice that they're in a decrepit New York.
Yeah. And even the Avenger Towers in there, they said in the background.
That's cool. That was a detail I 110% missed. So
I didn't either.
He gets paid for it.
I didn't notice that either until my buddy actually, one of my other friends I was talking to about it last night, texted saying, oh yeah, that was like a post-apocalyptic New York. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't pick up that. I just didn't look in the background really. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I feel like it's going to have some sort of significance. You know what I mean?
My theory is that it's a timeline in which Loki succeeded in Avengers.
Oh, that'd be cool.
If not he succeeded, Tony didn't get the A-bomb out.
Right,
but I feel like no structures would be standing in Manhattan if an actual A-bomb. But yeah, in my opinion, calling it's New York. If what happens if Loki succeeded,
that'd be cool.
And even though he succeeded, maybe he's not dead, and that's why a bunch of Lokis can go there without upsetting the timeline. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it'll be cool to see what they do with that and explain. Hopefully, they explain it a little bit. But that's a question we were left with. You were saying what questions were we left with? That's a question that nobody really knows.
All questions, no answers this episode. Except that Ravona's a shady bitch.
Yeah,
we did learn that, but
she sucks.
God, I want to also know what the fuck that pen means because we keep
what's it, high school or
putting
something?
On that pen, and we're just like, why? It's got to make fucking sense.
Yeah, they're gonna pay that off somehow. I don't know what it's gonna be.
I'm gonna say that's how they're gonna open episode 5.
Yeah,
it's her with the pen somehow.
Yeah, something. Yeah, that'd be interesting. It was a high school, right? Was there something like a school on it or something? Yeah, I wonder what that's gonna tie in. That'd be cool to see. And hopefully, they do pay it off.
I very much hope so.
Yeah. I'm sure they will because they keep showing it. It's just a pen. So why are you going to keep showing this insignificant pen if it doesn't have something kind of important to the show?
What do you guys think of Loki so far? Leave a comment down below. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those things. If you can't do anything other than that, if you have a friend who likes Buds, Bros, and Superheroes, I've got a fucking show for them. So if you can please, just word of mouth it, tell a friend, leave a review, all those fun things, guys. In the meantime, I have been Nick James, and I can't say thank you enough for coming to hang out with me again, JD.
Oh, yeah.
You've been here so many times now, and it was just even more fun than the time before, and you just keep coming back, so I'm going to keep inviting you, pal, as long as you keep doing it.
As long as Marvel keeps pumping out these shows and Star Wars, whatever. But yeah, thanks for having me.
That's goddamn right, sir. I almost forgot about that. We're going to have a Star Wars talk coming up soon.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you again. Thank you for everybody out there listening. This has been Buds, Bros, and Superheroes, and we are out of here.